Listen, man. Listen, man. Listen, man. Listen. We talking practice.
Hey. This is Matthew Harvey here with the 12 o'clock siren, recording live at the 903 Broadband Studios at the Cowboy Corner on the southeast side of the downtown Leonard Square. On my left hand is James Punished Hartley.
You like that?
Yeah.
If anybody sees a Punished Hartley, it's because I got zucked. I caught a 30-day ban for a pretty weak meme, so I just want to get that out there. I'll be posting under that profile for a while.
Memeing his way to Facebook jail.
No, I'm not the only one.
Par for course.
No.
You just got reprimanded not long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I've caught a couple 3-day bans in my time, but never a full 30.
Jeez.
I know. I appealed it, though, so it's under investigation, and they've restricted me for 3 days, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm being oppressed. We just talked to Mark and Michele Scoggins.
We did.
Thank y'all for coming in here.
So
it's got a weird deja vu.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it doing this?
No, you weren't.
Okay.
Thank you. Bringing me back. All right, here we are. Michele and Mark Scoggins.
Yeah. Educators of the Year.
Yep.
I hate that happened during COVID.
Yep.
Because they didn't get to partake in all the festivities that comes with such an honor. But I'm big fans of those folks just in general. Good people.
Yep. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Good to see them, too. It's been a while. I haven't seen them in probably 20 years.
It's funny. It's kind of it was a little bit different of an episode, I felt, because it didn't have like a direction. We went a lot of different directions and bizarre factoids.
A little all over the place.
Yeah, it was fun, though, in a good way, I feel like. I mean, maybe not a good way for you listeners. I don't know, but, I enjoyed it. I'm
sure if you've had kids go through the school system here, it'd probably be a cool little insight into some of their teachings, too.
Absolutely.
We're 7 days into, is it 7 days? 8 days, my bad, into 2021.
Yeah.
It's Friday. Just past the noon hour, too.
It is. Man, we're on a roll with doing these this recap's actually a couple days after the Educator of the Year episode.
Yep.
Due to
scheduling
conflicts. We are. It's okay. We're kind of on a roll doing these midday things.
But that day, actually, 2 days ago, was the Capitol siege that we watched unfold on TV.
I think we alluded to it in the
talked a little bit about it, yeah.
Kind of skirted around it.
Yeah, that was a wild event.
So I think, I posted something on Facebook that garnered a little bit of, controversy or some discussion, Let me see here. It was a tweet I'd seen that said, "I don't support mob violence, but I'm finding it very hard to get upset about our politicians being afraid of their constituents." And that quote pretty much sums up who I am as a person. Like, I'm not upset by that at any form.
The elected officials cowering.
Yeah, no, I like
the idea of that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care. You and I were talking about it before the show. I don't care, regardless of your political bend, right? Conservative, left wing, socialist, capitalist, does not matter. A group of people gathering together and targeting the government for protest, I find okay, regardless of your political bends. You lose me when you target innocent bystanders and burn people's businesses down. And government buildings are a legitimate target. Anti-Maze Cafe is not. So regardless...
Anti-Maze? Is that like Antifa?
No. I was just making an R.
Oh, auntie.
Yeah, auntie.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Do you say aunt?
No, I don't. But that just clarified what you were saying.
Yeah, no. So our Colonel Bob's Chicken Shack or whatever,
Gotcha.
That doesn't need to burn down.
Yeah.
So
I hate to see the private businesses and all that destroyed and
people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like, people storm the Capitol, and probably not a good look.
I didn't like being a tourist in that situation either.
No,
because I did that. We did that in L.A. and Hollywood was boarded up.
Was it?
We were at the Roosevelt, and it was all everything was boarded.
Social unrest.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Even at that time.
Yeah,
that was in September.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if people would have I don't care if people would have stormed the Capitol trying to advocate for child sacrifice, as long as nobody was, no innocent bystanders were hurt and no private property was destroyed. I'll take that protest any day over some of the stuff we've seen, So you don't have to agree with the endpoint, but you do have to acknowledge the fact that it was a lot more tame than what we've seen for over 100 days.
Yeah. You could argue they were breaking into a house full of criminals.
That's true. A house that we all own.
Is that
really.
how you see it, as a house full of criminals?
Oh, I do, definitely. Yeah. It's so funny too, the binary way we kind of think. When I say that, I'm like, politicians running. They're like, oh yeah, you don't. Do you feel that way seeing Ted Cruz and your Republican friends? I'm like, all of them can cower in fear.
Sure.
I don't care who is.
Yeah.
They can all get it. But anyway, that's my political.
What a
rant
mess.
of the day.
Speaking of Civil War, Ronnie Atnip's coming in to talk to us about the Lee Peacock feud.
That's a good, strong segue
like
right
that?
there. Yeah.
I've been waiting on it.
Yeah, do it. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we got Ronnie Atnip is coming in to do the first of many, most likely, segments of the Lee Peacock feud, based here in the Four Corners region of Texas, North Texas.
That should be an interesting...
You know what this area was called back then?
Wildcat or Bobcat Thicket?
It's Wildcat Thicket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that ran all the way from like Sherman Denison,
Okay.
especially in the high, like the ridge,
Mm-hmm.
all the way from Sherman Denison down to like Greenville, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge, huge thicket.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
So we should be getting a good grasp on how that looked and what it was like by talking to him and talking about the feud itself.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, it's near and dear to a lot of people's hearts around here because it was a piece of history that happened here,
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. I'm a fan.
Ronnie is, he's an extraordinaire on this. He should know everything there is to know about it. And he's got a book coming out too.
That'll be interesting. There was a book written called Murder at the Corners.
Yep.
And it's definitely sympathetic to the Southern cause, I would say. It has its viewpoint, and I can't remember the other book that was written from the other perspective. So,
yeah.
But,
and I know he's probably one-sided on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Did you get a little hint of that?
He's got a perspective. Yeah, that's for
nice.
sure.
Hey, well, we welcome it, and it'll be fun to dig into it.
Yep, I know he's got some opinions on what has been written about the story and what has been. There's been a movie.
There has been a movie.
I think so.
Really? Well,
sorry, maybe I'm thinking of the book.
Well, we'll validate
that
one
in by Lady in White Right.
We'll validate that when it comes on. Maybe there has been. Maybe we missed it.
I think I'm confusing it with a lady who wrote a book in White Right. She was like a teacher and wrote a book. I think it was Murder at the Corners, and they may have tried to adapt it to film, but never did.
Really?
I did a lot of reading on it a while back.
Sure.
It didn't contain it.
Yeah. No.
Apparently.
Oh.
But yeah, so he'll be on next week.
That'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be did you say it was a 3-part series?
It'll be multi. Depends on how far and how quick I guess we can get through it with him. And
I mean, I guess theoretically it could be one that was 6 hours.
I have a feeling he will have a lot of information and talk for a while about this and that. I want to start it off, I think, with like characters and locations and stuff like that. To know all the characters and about them maybe, and then kind of get into
set the stage, if you will.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's a good way to do it. I don't know, but it may just unfold how it does.
Yeah. We don't have control over this podcast.
We may just talk about Bob Lee for 4 hours.
Sure.
Could happen.
So what's your favorite thing thus far in 2021?
Ooh, we had some good black-eyed peas.
Yeah, I'd say memes.
Memes, yeah, they're really getting better every day.
Yeah,
they're coming out every day.
They are. I mean, there's just so much material to work with, really.
A lot of stuff. You're on that TikTok a lot.
Oh man, TikTok's awesome. I'm a fan of that. A lot of good stuff. There's a lot of funny people out there.
There are.
And it kind of makes me wish I was like funnier. Like the way these people think. They're so creative, and I'm just like, man, I'm bringing up the rear here.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of funny, the Kill Tony show totally moved to Austin. They just started their first live Austin show at Antone's.
In the wake of Joe Rogan, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they're pals, right?
Everybody, yep, they're all supportive of each other and stuff, so they're coming out here and making Austin home. So we're going to have to get down there for a Monday night show. It's like a little too accessible now.
Yeah, that is. Are we going to do it?
I kind of have to, I think.
Oh, man. I've got a little bit of material, but it scares me.
It's another bold claim that we don't follow through on.
No, I talk a lot of noise.
This one I wouldn't feel so bad about not following through on, but yeah, I would like to do it.
Well, I don't know. I feel like if we go do a minute-long stand-up set, say at,
Antone's.
No, or at
no, I'm going first time Antone's.
No, I know, but listen, what I'm trying to say is I feel like if we did a minute-long set at that comedy bar in McKinney, right, it doesn't live in infamy.
Oh, no. Well, this is, then you get made fun of.
Yeah, and
or not, you could be the next hit star. Not based on your comedy, but based on your interview.
That's true.
They could find something terrific about you, and you become the next whatever. They find that you can do this or that. And speaking of which, do you have any weird skills or?
I can make myself sneeze.
You can make yourself sneeze.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it's not a popular one in the era of COVID.
You're off to a good start.
I mean, really, it makes people uncomfortable. But yeah, I can make myself sneeze. I don't know why.
Is that what you would say if you were on the show?
I don't know. Probably, I guess.
Yeah, that's what you said here.
But then I'm afraid. I mean,
because they're going to riff on that, and that's exactly what they probably would have said.
Well,
you're probably not that popular these days at talent shows.
My thing is, and it's always worked. Like if you were like, make yourself sneeze right now, I could. I'm afraid that I'd get on there and they'd say, well, make yourself sneeze, and it'd be the one time I couldn't.
You couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. So.
Well, you just say I quit during COVID.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
See, you're off to a good start too.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a scary proposition. Those guys can be. Sometimes they're hit or miss, but those guys can be so funny that it's intimidating.
Yeah.
Like I would feel less intimidated trying to be funny in front of Joe Rogan.
But to be honest, well, he'll have a guest on too, most likely, and it could very well be him.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. It could be like Dave Chappelle or something.
I know. To be honest, though, the 5-6 people they have up, randoms that they have up during the show, usually bomb.
Yeah, usually terrible.
I'd say about 2 or 3 of them are maybe good.
Kill Tony's hard for me to get through because I get secondhand embarrassment a lot, and when people are bombing, I tend to just skip through it. It's rough for me.
You got to redeem yourself with the interview. That's the thing. He's like, you got to nail one of the two. If you can't nail the stand-up part, you got to nail the interview.
Who's nailed both?
There's a bunch. Yeah, a bunch of people do. A bunch of people might have just a mediocre set, and he's like,
yeah.
At the end of the interview, if you nail the interview, and be like, all right, well, you need to work on this. Your timing's good. You're cleaning it up.
Have you ever seen him just destroy someone like mean-spirited?
Yeah, yeah. There's some people that interrupt him.
Oh yeah.
That's where you can tell like you're gonna get it, or if you just avoid a question, or try to be funny. And if you try to be funny in the interview, doesn't work.
Yeah,
it never
set's
works.
over. Just do the interview.
Do the interview. Yep.
Yeah.
Usually those people get sideways.
Yeah.
It's a funny show to watch.
It is. The secondhand embarrassment thing is real though, man. Like I used to love American Idol. My wife and I would watch it. I can't. The first 2 weeks I can't watch it because the people that suck and all that, and they get made fun of. I'm just like, nope. I catch it when they've all gone through that first round.
Yeah, in the first episode, like the most popular.
I guess. Yeah,
has all the outtakes.
I wonder what that says about us as a culture.
Yeah. You ever watch those videos of like people slipping on the same piece of ice?
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
That stuff is hilarious.
It is.
And the person videoing is also laughing. Yeah. Like there's one that comes to mind where these kids are getting out of school and they're rounding this corner on a sidewalk. Yeah. And every one of them slips and hits it. Not terribly, but
just
bad enough to be funny.
Yeah.
Man, cracks me up.
Who was it? I heard something they were talking about. They have this weird tick where it's like, look, I don't want to see anybody hurt. But for some reason, anytime I see a kid fall, I cannot contain my laughter. Yeah. And he was talking about how, I can't remember who it was, but they had met a celebrity at an airport. and they were talking, and he said, out of the corner of my eye, I saw this kid just running full tilt out of the bathroom, and he said, I knew this was going to, but I was trying to lock into what this guy was saying, and he just ate it.
Bam.
And everything went flying. He said he just started laughing. The guy didn't know why he was laughing because it had happened over here, you know? So I thought
Who was the celebrity?
I can't remember either one of the principals of that story. So, yeah. Sorry, guys.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
We need to know the celebrity, man.
I know.
That's where America's Funniest Videos came from.
Well, America's Funniest Videos was good. Talk Soup was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning of all that kind of. The early.
Was it?
Well, I don't know if it was the beginning. There was a
AFV was like the original.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, kind of. But it was funny because Daniel Tosh made fun of the dude on MTV for kind of stealing his show. But I was like,
Deerdeck?
Yeah, Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah.
Ridiculousness or whatever. And I was like, but isn't Tosh.0 just Talk Soup?
Tosh is a well-produced version of both.
Yeah,
Because he's got the little segments and
it's
stuff
definitely
that are
funnier too. I mean,
well-produced little segments is with like the web redemption and the he's got another web-based part of it. Anyway.
Yeah, but see, I looked at Tosh.0 as kind of it wasn't necessarily an original idea.
No. His monologues are good, I think. I think are way better than.
Oh yeah.
They're pointed and cryptic and
can be vicious at times.
Vicious, yeah. Vicious.
I haven't watched Tosh.0 in a long time, but
where does he sit in the realm of comedians? Do you know? Do you have any idea? Because he's not ever brought up on any of the podcasts to listen to. I wonder how active he is.
I kind of feel like he's moved on to just being Tosh.0
because
he still does that, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's still a thing. So I kind of feel like he's not like really a working comic anymore.
Right.
I would say, and this is complete supposition, but you and I both follow comedy a little bit. In the early to mid 2000s, I would have said he was an elite comic.
Right.
Like up there with the Chappelles but he just
he's
kind
not,
of fell off.
He's not even brought into that conversation a lot.
But some of his stand-ups were hilarious.
Pretty good.
I think he's better than Rogan.
Oh yeah.
By far.
Absolutely.
And Rogan's gets brought up probably just by virtue of being a super celebrity podcaster, but
Rogan's funny because I've never been a huge fan of his comedy, his stand-up comedy. It's good. I like it.
What I laugh at,
but he's a podcaster to me. That's the only way I've gravitated to him. Like I didn't watch
News Radio.
I
loved News Radio.
Never watched it. I would like to go back to it because it's got a lot of people I love and just never got into it. Fear Factor I never watched.
A hit or miss with Fear Factor.
And then I'm not a UFC guy, so like whenever Joe Rogan got his now fame versus his old fame, I was like, what has he done really? Like what brought him to this, this notoriety? And then I started listening to the podcast, of course, and it was like, okay, this is where I like you. He's perfect at it. I started
noticing before I got into the podcast, I was a fan of News Radio. I loved that show as a kid, as a younger guy. I started noticing him on social media because he did like Joe Rogan Questions Everything, and it was kind of a show, and he basically did his podcast in another kind of form where he would go and talk to like alien experts and stuff like that, and I like that. So then that led to the podcast, and I'm kind of the same. But what I do laugh at him, I think is hilarious. Like when he does strike gold, it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's so hit or miss.
Yeah.
So he's too energetic for me on stage. He's too animated.
Yeah.
He's like a Chris Farley kind of type, but not absurd. Like Chris Farley was absurd, kind of absurdist comedy.
Yeah.
He's just way too animated for me, like Tracy Morgan or something.
Okay.
Tracy Morgan wears me out too. Sorry. We're just going off talking about comedy.
I wish I could do his impression right now.
Tracy Morgan?
Yeah. I don't even know what I'd say though.
I can't do it. But Rogan actually does a pretty good Morgan, I think. So, who's pretty funny at impressions and is that Frank Caliendo guy.
He's perfect.
And on TikTok he's always explaining how to do them. He does he goes from Biden, I think, to Mark Ruffalo to Joe Rogan. It's funny.
Speaking of Rogan and such, the Comedy Store special. I talked to you about that.
You posted on Facebook.
I shared on Facebook. Man, go watch this Comedy Store documentary. It's fantastic.
Is it the one? Because Pauly Shore was on Rogan and they talked about it. I think.
I think they kind of blew it or something blew the.
Because it's Pauly Shore's mom that owns it, right?
Right, but she's dead.
Okay, so does Pauly own it?
I don't really know, honestly. I mean, I don't know. He must.
I watched one podcast, one Rogan podcast with Pauly Shore on it, and I think it was his first one or maybe his only one. But he was an interesting guest because he was talking about how he was chasing fame and how, like, when you blow up like he did when it was in the Army now and all that, you know, and how when that was no longer there, how much it like hurt him. And he was like kind of vulnerable on the show, man, and like just pretty open and humble about it. And I thought it was an interesting.
Yeah. You follow him on any of the socials?
I don't. I should.
He's a good follow.
Is he? Yeah.
He does a daily rant, I think.
Yeah.
No, that's Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, yeah.
He does a daily rant. Pauly's got a pretty cool little daily thing he does.
So Bill Burr is also kind of hit or miss for me, but I lean more towards the hit because some of his like rants are.
Oh yeah, Bill Burr's greatness.
Yeah, some of his.
But after about an hour and a half,
that's too much.
Like podcasting, like I listened to one episode of him and a couple other guys, and he was just way too much conversationally. I think
it's too much negativity, sort of.
Yeah, well, and he's got something for everything.
Yeah.
You know, he does. I mean, that's good and it's bad, but
it's good as a comic. It's not good as a person because you wear people out.
Well, yeah, and he's got that Boston accent. It's just like
yeah, it's pretty bad.
But he is hilarious. His F is for Family show. If you ever watch that, it's super vulgar but hilarious.
Did you see his? I thought his monologue on Saturday Night Live a few weeks ago was pretty spot on. It
pretty
was,
good. Yep.
Well, it was a little dangerous.
Very.
Which in this time, comedy has always been.
He risked getting canceled, is what happened.
That's what happened, and I applaud him for it because comedy's always been the thing that pushes the cultural narrative, and you can say things as a comic that me or you couldn't say on the show because it's funny. And that's always been that's always been kind of a place for people to hear the cultural narrative. And now even comedy's under attack. So when he came out swinging on the monologue, I was like, okay, Bill, I got you, So.
Comedy Store documentary, go watch it. I mean, Letterman's on there, Leno's on there. The panels they had just talking on the roof of the Comedy Store was insane.
Oh, man.
Pretty cool.
I need to watch it.
It's like Bill Burr, Leno, Tim Allen. I mean, just like some pretty, like, people you don't remember as stand-up comics actually started in stand-up comedy. And some people just totally said, nope, no more of that. I'm just acting.
Yeah.
And all of them ran through that place.
Well, Tim Allen was a surprising one for me because, I of course, loved Home Improvement and all that. I thought it was funny. And when I learned after I got out of the Home Improvement thing that he had started in stand-up, I was like, I don't see that translates well. He's actually pretty funny.
Well, I use him as one of the best examples of how his stand-up transferred to TV.
Right.
Like, I can see, like, I always saw shows and it was like based on the stand-up comedy of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, But I was like, I see it.
Right. Perfect. Well, and Tim the Toolman Taylor was a stand-up personality a bit.
Yep.
The whole Benford Tools thing.
Yep.
Anyway, I find it fascinating. We watched a documentary a long time ago that came on called The History of Comedy, and it was done by. Do you remember me telling you about this?
Not really.
Louis, not Louis C.K., older guy. Come on.
The history of comedy?
Yeah. What's some of the older comics out there that are still around? In like the Seinfeld era. I think it was called The History of Comedy.
Not much help here.
Or The History of Laughter. I will think about it as soon as we're done with this. I'll look it up. We'll verify.
Comedians from what year?
I would say the 90s. The mid 90s. If you saw him right now, you'd be like, oh yeah, because he's also an actor. I think he had maybe an HBO show at one point.
Not Gary Shandling.
Not Gary Shandling, but the guy that reminds you of Gary Shandling.
Oh,
Louis Black.
Louis Black.
I think. Hold on.
No.
I said that with confidence.
Yeah, you did.
But
He is a comedian. I don't remember him having a career back then. Louis C.K. Louis C.K. was he was on the he was a lot on the.
Yeah, this is the guy that did it. Louis Black.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah, he did the documentary or whatever.
Okay.
He's
angry.
I'm almost sure. Yeah. But it was a good documentary. And I don't know that I've ever seen his stand up at all.
He's straight up political.
Oh, really?
Like all political.
Left
he had
leaning?
A show. Yeah, now he is. He had a show on Comedy Central for a while. I forget what it was, but he's like super hothead political guy.
Hold on.
I think I saw him with Mitch Hedberg at the Majestic.
Really?
Yeah. And Stanhope, maybe? No, not
Doug Stanhope.
No, not Stanhope.
Pretty funny.
Dave Artell.
Man, it may not have been
Dave
Louis
Attell,
Black that did it. Is there another guy that looks like him? Kind of.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, this is probably not very interesting. You know,
Richard Lewis.
Really?
Richard Lewis, the comedian. He was big. He was a big comedian in the '80s. He was in all the like Monty Python stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was him. Anyway, is there a Dean?
Dean Lewis?
Not Dean Lewis from the Jagger Show or whatever, but
oh, that's why it's familiar. Yeah,
he is a comic.
Is he?
Yeah, he does. Matter of fact, he does a comedian workshop, and I thought about taking it before we did our little setup. Anyway,
you're gonna have to remind us who this is when you think of it.
I will. I'll look it up.
Another little docu we watched was the Hugh Hefner story.
How was that?
Like a 10-part story that I had no idea about the Playboy enterprise.
Really?
Starting out, like from
like
idea
the 50s,
to,
wasn't it? Or 60s?
50s.
50s, yeah. I mean, it's a long running.
It's a crazy story.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like I didn't even realize the big things that happened. Like he had a casino in London.
Whoa.
In the 60s.
Wow.
And 5 or 6 different hotels and casinos across the world.
Wow.
Like Manila, I think, or like the Philippines or something like that. Yeah.
So he probably died a wealthy man then.
Well, it went up and down. I mean, he lost a lot.
No. Okay.
I mean, he was bankrupt a while back, and then
really?
yeah, not bankrupt, but he was
running tight.
It was running tight, yeah. But the up and down and like some of the story that we never knew. I mean, Playboy's been around forever, but you didn't know the story.
Yeah.
And the story's insane.
I'm gonna go check that out.
Do watch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out the.
It is obviously adult content.
Sure.
So bear that in mind.
The History of Comedy is a CNN documentary series.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah,
I'm sure I have.
This was said it was originally released in February 9th, 2017. What I'm talking about was like an early 2000s to mid 2000s release. But anyway,
I do love stand up though.
Yeah.
And I like hearing some other comics that go on these podcasts and talk about their introduction to stand up. A lot of it's the same story I've got of listening to a George Carlin record.
Right.
At a friend's house, or brother's, room or whatever. And yeah, George Carlin was where I heard it, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is funny."
The first comedian.
I was way too young.
Me too. The first comedic CD I heard was Eddie Murphy, Raw. I
think.
It was pretty funny, man.
That's a lot of people's story too.
Yeah.
That's another one that comes up all the time.
Oh, they talk about how he was perfect at like 20 years old. Like as far as his timing and being able to write material, he was so young, but just so on it.
Mm-hmm.
They said he'll still kill. He'll go up and still kill. Because his movies are terrible now.
Yeah,
they used to be awesome. Like Beverly Hills Cop, man, it's great.
I think it was Eddie Murphy that I heard this. Somebody said this about once he got caught for prostitution or
I think it was a trans.
It was with a trans. Then he started doing all kids movies.
To refresh that image,
I guess.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird. That's
something to think about.
Something to think about next time I'm listening.
I always confuse that story with Hugh Grant because I think he did the same thing.
Is that what I need to do?
Except for the kids' stories.
Is that
for kids' movies?
Is that what I need to do if I get caught with a trans person?
As your campaign manager? I would
Yeah.
I would not suggest it.
Yeah. Okay.
Either one of them.
Hey, speaking of campaign manager, and we semi-jokingly talk about running for the United States House of Representatives, Congressional District 4, is it? I think we're going to get, due to this 2020 census, I think we're going to get more representatives next time around.
That's interesting.
So I wonder how the redistricting goes, and I wonder what do you campaign for? Like, do I campaign for 3, 4, 5, or 6? So anyway, just found that interesting. But that's good. I mean, it's just all the people fleeing the chaos in New York and California. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I suppose somebody's got to be losing districts, right?
Yeah, I heard that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's seat might be in jeopardy, which I find hilarious. So anyway, somebody got mad because they said that I liked the chaos that was going on in our country. And I'd like to clarify that I do not like the chaos that's going on in my country, but I do like the political chaos that they the politicians find themselves in right now. Social media just has done a lot of bad things, but it's done a couple good things, because now there's a little thing called memories on Facebook. And when you do something that's
out there,
particularly good, bad, or cringeworthy, it comes up. So politicians can't sweep stuff under the rug like they used to be able to.
Yep.
They used to could.
And we got a bunch of people coming up that were only raised that way.
That's an interesting thought too. Oh, we should have talked to Mark and Michelle about that. I wonder.
Yeah, it would be a good idea.
I wonder if that will translate to kids thinking a little bit more before they do things. I doubt
more
it.
accountability.
Well, but
if you didn't post about it or share something about it, then you retract on it.
Right, and I bet like the first time you do something cringe-inducing and it's recorded, it might teach a lesson earlier, because I did a lot of dumb stuff as a kid. Thank goodness it wasn't around.
Yeah.
But maybe, maybe my kid does something dumb and then gets made fun of it one day a year for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, It's scary, though.
That's wild.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. We're coming into the weekend. You got anything going this weekend?
No big plans.
No big plans. I got my oldest has a basketball game at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So
maybe a little snow on Sunday. There's a rumor.
Yeah.
See if it's still going.
That's the rumor, as Doc Holliday would say, from Tombstone. That version.
Looking at a 40% chance on Sunday, but it's never below freezing. So I'm not sure what that means. Chance of frozen mix.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's not as fun.
Yay.
Man, the weather's been nasty lately. I'll tell you that much.
It is cold.
Oh, can I brag on myself a little bit?
Do it.
5 days straight.
Yep.
Of running. No vices, right? No tobacco, no booze, nothing. Also been more intentional about maybe reading the Bible a little bit and reading things instead of just novels, like some real estate books or investing books or whatnot, and researching that kind of side hustle stuff. So trying to level up.
Accountability there.
Yeah, a little bit. 5 green boxes. I track everything on an Excel spreadsheet. So when you complete that day successfully, you get a green box, and I've gotten 5 green boxes.
How does that work?
What do you mean?
You track on Excel spreadsheet. Well, I know what Excel spreadsheet is.
I'm gonna say this out loud. I have the idea and pseudo goal. I'm not locked into it yet, but of running the Never Summer 100K in Gould, Colorado, July 31st. Right.
Okay.
So I have a training plan. And that training plan has my mileage via Excel spreadsheet in each of the cells,
Gotcha.
Right? And I put my other goals that day, like drinking a gallon of water and whatnot.
Gotcha.
So I get green boxes when I complete everything.
Cool.
Yeah. So 5 green boxes. That's a good start.
That's
to the
accountability.
Year. That is.
Way to go.
Looking forward to the weekend where I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
No getting up early. No. Well, except for the game tomorrow, but be all right.
Eat how you want.
No,
nope.
Can't quite eat how I want.
What are you eating?
So I am intermittent fasting. I don't eat till about 2:00 in the afternoon, and then I eat, I just try to keep it kind of low carb. I eat like steak and eggs and some vegetables.
Right on.
Try to stay away from the bread. I'm
cool.
a bread person. I love bread.
Bread's good.
Yeah.
I did a little charcuterie board last night.
How was it?
It was good.
Yeah.
Bunch of cheeses and meats, and Kevin's making them, and they're delicious.
I texted my wife, speaking of charcuterie. I was going to watch Garrett Todd coach basketball, and it was in my, what I call my feeding window, and I was like, man, what do I eat? And we don't have anything, and I was starving. I was on my way, so I just stopped at Spring Market, and I bought this is disgusting. I bought a pack of salami, and I ate 900 calories worth of salami on the way to Merritt, Texas.
Like a popsicle?
No, it was like sliced. And so I'd pull them out, just eat them. And by the time I got to Merritt, I texted Ashley and I said, I just ate 900 calories of salami. I'm sweating and I think I'm hallucinating. It was disgusting. If you'd have watched me, you'd have been embarrassed for me.
Have you ever eaten salami or like summer sausage?
Summer sausage, yeah.
Like a popsicle?
Yeah.
Just take a big bite out of it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird. So, kind of.
Somehow it changes the experience.
It
I don't know why.
does. And maybe not a positive way. There's something disconcerting.
It is better sliced.
Well, or in thinner as a stack steak.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the size of a bat.
Yeah. Cut like a pie shape.
Yeah, exactly. With a little bit of cranberry mustard.
Okay. Yeah.
Some American cheddar too. So.
Yeah.
Well, Matthew, I'm sure people are tired of hearing me vomit on you. So
this is the end.
Until next time.
Is
that next
week?
week?
Should be Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
Ronnie at Nip.
Have you confirmed?
Coming in hot. I haven't. I should confirm today. Actually, that's what I'll do.
Do that. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much. See you.